Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. The main talking points tonight: can Scotland get at least a point against the world champions Germany at Hampden in the European qualifiers? Also, we will look back at the weekend results in the lower leagues in Scotland. And I'm delighted to say our boot-room guest tonight is the testimonial man himself, Motherwell's captain Keith Lasley. First and foremost, before we get to the meat and bones of Scotland, did you shed a tear? Are you that kind of emotional person on Saturday at your testimonial?
Well, it was an emotional day. It was a great day for me and my family to go and enjoy, and it's a culmination of a great time for me at Motherwell. And last year I've had a series of events building up to this game, and yeah, it's memories for me and my family to cherish forever, really. So it was fantastic. Yeah,
great for your wee boy as well. He got a goal.
Yeah, well, he did get emotional. He did shed a tear because he was bawling his eyes out as soon as he entered the box, which, some people say that's what happens to me when I reach 18-yard box. But no, it was great. It was great to get him on the park, and you never know, a wee start for the future, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, nice to see Neil Lennon bringing his Bolton boys up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to thank Neil. I said on the day it was fairly short notice for him to bring Bolton up, and they were great. Brought 200 or 300 fans up with him as well, which was fantastic. So it was great, and I thank Neil for bringing the side up. It was a strong side that he brought. Heskey and Spearing, all international class players. So it was a good game. Sometimes these games can be played at a little bit of a pre-season feel, if you like, but it was it was competitive, and it was a good game, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, and of course, if we're talking about Emil Heskey, surely you've got another 4 years in you.
That's right. Look, he's obviously the big man got on the score sheet as well, which is disappointing from our point of view. But it was great to have guys of that calibre involved, and as you say, for myself, hopefully it's not the end for me. I'm hoping there's still a little bit of football left in me as well.
In all fairness to Keith, he had a plane on the tarmac for Bolton to fly back down again, out of the fund, so which was very good.
So that was in the contract.
What with the committee?
I'm just checking on that. Of course, you remember your testimonial as well, Ruffy.
Yeah, I had a great committee who decided, I was telling Keith there, to charge £2 to get into the game. And it sounded a great idea at the time. In all fairness, the Celtic fans turned up in their numbers to 15,000, and it was a great day. But as Keith said, I mean, you're playing in the game, and there's so many things happening. There's so many things you're trying to think of. What's going to happen at night and who's there, and what. It just flashes by. But it is a very emotional day particularly when you've been at a club a long, long time. And as I said the other day, there's not enough people like Keith who stay at clubs for that length of time, so he deserves everything.
Yeah, absolutely. From a testimonial to possibly one of our biggest games on the calendar as far as Scotland are concerned, here's how the group looks at the moment. There it is. Group D, Germany on top, Poland, Republic of Ireland, Scotland in fourth, Georgia with the 3 points from that game against us, and then Gibraltar just at the bottom of the table. So there are various permutations. I've held on to it with optimism, but whether it's going to happen or not, I do not know. Are you filled with any sort of optimism, Keith Lasley?
Well, it's going to be difficult. I think that's a given against the world champions coming to town. But look, you've always got a chance. That's what football provides, and I think none more so than Scotland have shown over the years that coming up when the challenge is there in front of them, you think of Faddy scoring that goal in Paris and things like that. So look, it can be done. It's obviously we've put ourselves now in a trickier situation than we would have liked, but full house at Hampden, why not? Let's go and give it a go. I don't think we've got much to lose tonight. It's a case of going and trying. If we get a point, great. If we get 3, fantastic. But we're still in there with a shout until it's over. It's we've still got a chance. And as I said, full house at Hampden. Let's have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I get Ruffy's thoughts on it, here's what Gordon Strachan had to say about where we need to improve.
The first 2/3 gives me hope. I also know we can improve at our best in the last third, and if we do that, then we'll have a good game. I think if you look at it, all the games apart from Gibraltar, there's only been 1 goal of difference in any game, so that gives me hope.
OK, he's got a bit of hope. He's going to ring the changes. Where do you think he's going to ring them, Ruffy? I've heard, the suggestion is that maybe even Chris Martin could get a run out. The clamour seems to be for Lee Griffiths. Are there any other areas you think there'll be dramatic changes?
It's probably one of the biggest shouts he's had since he's been a manager. This is obviously the World Champions we're playing. He's obviously identified where we could be better, and I think the width, somebody up front, particularly somebody that I don't know if we'll see Fletcher in midfield. I think we need somebody with an old head. I think we need somebody that can make a pass, because our biggest failing is we're not creating chances. If you can't create them against Georgia, what chance have we got against Germany? But as Keith said, we've been in the game long enough, and we've all been in games when people have given you no chance whatsoever. And circumstances happen in a game. Somebody could get sent off, it could be a one-on-one at the back. You get somebody sent off with that, and things can happen in a game. You have to keep believing that you can do it, and certainly with the Scottish support that will be there tonight, they'll give you a fair chance. I'm sure they'll keep behind the team right until the very end. So we need to do something special. That's basically, we're playing the World Champions. We need to be better than what we were the other night there.
Yeah, Scott Brown mentioned that if they are going to take anything from the game, they're going to have to be on top of their game.
We're playing the World Champions here tomorrow night, and we're going to need a full house behind us and them supporting us for 90 minutes, to be perfectly honest. But the performance has got to be outstanding to try and get anything against the World Champions, as I says.
Yep, we're going to have some top performances. We're going to somehow have to, we might not have to engineer a goal, we just have to make sure we don't lose one. Hanley come on against Gibraltar. Would you change things drastically at the back end of it, Ruffy?
No, I don't think so. I think all the strength of the Germany teams in midfield, it's their possession, their strength. I saw Gordon identified at the weekend that we're quite a small side, we're not a physical side, and if you're going to play that style of football, the Germans are not a team you want to come up against. They're very physical in everything they do. So I think he will maybe pick a team that's a lot more physical than what they were the other night there. But I wouldn't change the back. Germany aren't going to come and run over the top of us. They could quite easily come and give us a hammer and 1-0. But that's the way they play. So I think it's important that we get something first and then give them something to think about.
Yep. Listen, we can talk about atmosphere and how Hampden will be bouncing. It would be great if all the people who are in Hampden could play as well against Germany, but that's not going to happen. But Keith, I think the one positive is, although we lost in Germany, we did put in a good performance. We are capable of causing them problems.
Yeah, of course. I think unfortunate not to come away with anything from that night in Dortmund, and it's, I think the players must take confidence from that. I don't know whether they might even watch that game back and to analyse, where they done things right in that game, because I think it's going to take a similar style of performance again, even though it's at home. I expect Germany to control large parts of the game. We've seen with Anya's pace that night causing them a problem, and almost at times Scotland might have to play on the counter-attack, even with the game being at Hampden at times. So that'll be interesting tactically to see how that bears out. But at least Scotland do have players in there like Anya that have got the pace to trouble them at the back. It's been shown at the past that you can do that. So look, as I said right at the start, there's still hope. Well, it's still there. It's still an achievable target of qualification. They've just got to believe that it can be done. And as you said, the away tie in Germany, I think, should give them that hope. Yep.
One man who was well used to playing in Germany has a Champions League winners' medal. Paul Lambert gave us his assessment.
They've got a chance. It's a one-off kind of game, really. That's what it is. And over the course of the group, it was always going to be difficult to qualify for the group they're in. But in any given game, you can win a game of football. You're up against, probably the best team that's going to go and win it or get through the group. So, but you never know.
You can give us your thoughts tomorrow night on the programme. We'll assess the performance, whether we're in a positive mood or just realising that it's very difficult to get anything out of the World Champions. And of course, Ruffy, it's just like us to be playing a team where Mario Götze is suddenly looking as if he's found his form again.
Yeah, they've got players all over the place that can hurt you. There's no doubt about that. But I think we know what we're going to get with them. It's up to us. I'm sure the players will be hurting with the performance they put in, and as players are, know, you want to prove to everybody that you're not as bad as what we were on Friday night, and they'll go out there determined to do that, and I think that's a good thing.
Yep, and lots of people already reacting, saying, why is Ruffy in a suit? He never wears a suit on the programme. Me and Keith looking relaxed and as if we're just going out for a couple of beers, but Ruffy, 53 caps, always has to get dressed up for his seat at Hampden. That's all I'm saying to you folks. Now, join us after the break. Can Rangers go through the entire season undefeated? We'll discuss that as well as some of the other results in the lower leagues. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our boot-room guest is Motherwell captain Keith Lasley. Before the break, we were looking at the game tonight against Germany, trying to look for just even a bit of optimism about it all. Listen, things go in cycles. You can transform your fortunes over a period of time. And I only suggest to you now, Ruffy, that you only have to look at Iceland to see, you know, the transformation in that country. And then, on the flip side of that, Holland. What has happened to the Dutch?
Yeah, and it looks as if the Dutch are going to be one of these teams that are going to be in the playoffs as it stands just now. So that's the kind of country we could be up against if we get to the playoffs. It's going to be difficult, but no, I still believe that we can get something. You know, I think we were all there when we played Spain. In Spain were the world champions. We were there when Italy were a quality side, and we gave them, although we didn't beat them for a long time in their games, we looked as if we were going to get something. And when you're in a Scotland jersey and you're winning and you've got that crowd behind you, anything can happen.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. As far as the weekend's football, of course, Keith and most of the other Premiership players all got a rest, apart from those on international duty. In the lower leagues, let's have a look at the results from the Championship. And there it is, screaming out at you, Ruffy. Rangers 5, Wraith Rovers 0. Nathan Odua with a standing ovation. Rangers rampant, and certainly from Saturday's programme, Des McKeown was waxing lyrical about how well Rangers played on the day, and certainly over 44,000 fans were well happy with their performance.
Yeah, we said it last year, that was the biggest problem for Rangers when they weren't playing particularly well. The fans were on the young players' backs and it affected them. You know, you could see it visibly on the park, but this year you've got 44,000 people screaming you on, and you can see the confidence in the players. Everyone to a man. The fullbacks are scoring goals for fun. Everybody's wanting a goal, and I think it's going to be a great season for Rangers, particularly at home. I can't see anybody getting near them.
Well, I think Mark Warburton, the Rangers manager, needs that line like a hole in the head, but so many people now suggesting, can they go undefeated through the entire season? Players don't want to hear that, Keith, don't they?
No, I know. But look, everybody else, all the opponents, I'm sure will be looking to be that first team that derail them, if you like. But a whole season, I'm not so sure. But certainly, I mean, they've got to be hot favourites now to you know, almost do what Hearts done last year and you know, tie that league up pretty early, you know, the way they're going. But no, I think as Ruffy says, once the fans and everybody are buying back into to the way they're playing and the style of football that they're playing, and you know, once Ibrox is a tough place to go at the best of times, they can get the fans back on board and it rocking again. It's, you know, as I said, it's a difficult place to go and get a result. Yeah,
a few eye openers from the Championship. Of course, St Mirren getting their first win of the season. Alloa maybe shocking us with a win at Dumbarton, and well done to Morton as well. Jim Duffy's men going well. Here's how the Championship table looks after the weekend results. Rangers flying high at the top. Falkirk were not in action at the weekend, nor were Hibs, but the rest of the table looks like that. Queen of the South on 9, Morton, and then Hibernian on 6. So it's certainly good reading for Rangers fans there. As far as the other two divisions are concerned, Dunfermline, Ruffy. Yep. Going well. Alan Johnson's side, apart from that slip up against Peterhead, they just keep on scoring goals. Yeah,
I said at the weekend there that I thought they're now getting the benefit of that financial year you had when everything was up in the air, and all the young boys get thrown into the first team, and now 2 years down the line, I think they're now getting the benefit of these young guys getting games, and there's a confidence, you can see it, and when you're scoring that number of goals, you're getting into every game, looking to score, and when you've got players with that kind of confidence, the only way is to go is up.
Yeah, there's the results from League One at the weekend. Great result for Dunfermline, and of course elsewhere, Airdrie and Cowdenbeath with a share of the spoils. Peterhead and Albion Rovers and Stranraer and Brecon City. What about League Two? Annan Athletic. I was with Jim Chapman yesterday. Well happy that they're at the top of the table there. It's an unpredictable division. Here's the results from League Two. And Barry Ferguson, a guest last week on the programme, well happy with an away win against Arbroath. And again, Ruffy, it's going to be a tough one to call, that division. There are so many teams tucked in just behind Annan on 9 points. Yeah,
when you look at the league, I think it goes down to about 8th or 9th. I think there's only about 3 points between them. I said at the beginning of the season that would be the league that would probably be the tightest throughout the year, and that's the way it's proven. But I think Astle hanging on in there with Elgin City. I think Jim Weir's got a good side up there. They got beat at the weekend there, but I think they'll come up.
Okay, it's usually the kiss of death of either of us tip anybody to win a game. Just before we talk more football with Keith Lasley, I want to mention one player, sadly, who passed away at the weekend at only 54 years of age. Ralph Milne was certainly part of that successful Dundee United side in 1983. Ruffy, as a young boy watching Dundee United, I thought they were a fabulous team. Ralph Milne was a great player, and of course the United fans will remember him with that brilliant chip as part of the 2-1 win against Dundee to win the league in 1983. Yeah,
and all credit to Jim McLean. He said all along that it could have been better, should have been better. Should have been in Scotland teams, should have been going to World Cups. He had that ability. He was a fantastic player, there's no doubt about that. And as you quite rightly said there was so many good players in that Dundee United side. I don't think he got the credit, like the others did. But a wonderful player, and of course Sir Alex Ferguson thought he was a bit of a player as well. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't quite work out for him at Manchester United, but of course some of the best memories were wearing the tangerine of United, and I'm glad you mentioned there some great players. I mean, Keith, McAlpine, Gough, Neary, Hegarty and Malpass, Stark, Sturrock, Milne, Bannon, and Dodds in there as well. I mean, just some of the names that I'm rhyming off, they're incredible.
No, it's incredible. I mean, that full team, I think nearly every one of them is an international player and won so much in the game, and the thought of playing against that team just now, is a pretty scary thought. It would have been interesting if the teams of today coming up against the might of that team. It's certainly some of the names there are absolutely fantastic, and for a club of Dundee United's size to achieve what they did is unbelievable. But when you read that team out, you see why they did.
And all credit to these players, they were on 10-year contracts with 10-year options.
Another quality of Jim's at the time, but nevertheless, actually, funny you mentioned that, Ruffy, but when they get together, apart from the obvious Jim McLean stories, there's a real tight camaraderie among those boys, which you would expect because they've etched their names into the history books forever. 54 years of age, too young to pass away, Ralph Milne, and our thoughts and condolences to his family and of course all the United fans. As far as getting back to the weekend football, you guys will be back in action. How do you think you're shaping up this season, Keith?
Yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag for us so far. There's been a few games in there, the United game at home, Aberdeen at home, where we felt we possibly could deserve more than we got out of the game. St Johnstone away being another one where there's been periods in games we felt as if we've dominated but never maybe got the rewards for that and lost out in the end. So we're sitting at 6 points at the moment. Probably most teams would say it, but we feel as if we could have another 2 or 3 points on the board there. But no, I think we're looking okay. I mean, obviously a disappointing season, which ended well with the playoffs, but we certainly don't want to go through that again. And like everyone, we just want to try and push for that top 6 spot first and foremost, and definitely feel capable.
Certainly don't want to hear him singing on the party again.
Yeah.
No, I don't
I think I'll
think
let
we could go through that again.
No, the other thing about it, Ruffy, if history teaches you anything about this division, you know, when you look at the calibre of player he's playing alongside, including himself, I mean, you can't tip. I mean, last season I would never have said Motherwell were going to be in the playoffs, or even down that bottom end of the table. But suddenly, you know, Kilmarnock find themselves here. I didn't think they would be involved in the bottom end. A long way to go. Teams have to gel, get used to new players.
It just shows you that it is very important at the beginning of the season to get a good start. You know, if you get a good start, the belief's there that you can go higher and higher. If you have a bad start and don't win 3 or 4 games, the pressure, not pressure, but, you know, the tension's there every time you're going out to play a game, trying to get points, trying to get away from it. And certainly I think Motherwell will benefit for that, because as Keith said, most of the lads were through it. And when you're through it, you don't want to go through it again. So that is you have to really try harder to make sure, because it's a long season, as Keith will tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I hate to ask you guys, because I know usually this programme has a repeat at 10:30 and you could look mightily silly, but nevertheless I'm going to ask you, go on, give us your most optimistic prediction for Scotland-Germany. Keith Lasley.
My most optimistic, I am going to go 2-1 Scotland.
2-1 Scott. That's I didn't want you to be unbelievably optimistic, but Ruffy.
I can't see 2-1. I can definitely see us getting a draw, but I think we need to score first.
Okay, well, you can give us your thoughts at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter and Facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. Thanks to Keith Lasley, our boot room guest tonight. Ruffy is on his way to the big match. Let's hope Scotland can get a win. We're right behind Gordon Strachan and his men. Thanks for watching.